Have you ever noticed that the most intriguing people are rarely the ones who talk the most? They don't constantly seek attention. They don't reveal everything about themselves, and yet people can't stop thinking about them. Why? Because mystery creates curiosity, and curiosity creates attraction. Many men believe that becoming more attractive means being louder, more entertaining, or constantly proving their value. But often, the opposite is true. The more you explain yourself, the more predictable you become. The more you seek approval, the less interesting you appear. And the more desperate you are to be noticed, the easier you are to forget. The truly magnetic man doesn't hide who he is. He simply doesn't feel the need to reveal everything at once. Hello everyone, welcome to the Magnetic Masculinity channel. In today's video, we'll explore how to become more mysterious and naturally attractive, not through manipulation or mind games, but through confidence, self-control, and quiet strength. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may completely change the way people see you and the way you see yourself. Now let's get started. Part 1. Stop explaining yourself to everyone. One of the biggest mistakes many men make is believing they need to constantly explain who they are. They explain their decisions, their intentions, their choices, their ambitions, and sometimes even their worth. Why? Because deep down they want to be understood. They want approval. They want people to see them in a positive light. But here's the truth. The more you feel the need to explain yourself to everyone, the less mysterious you become. And often, the less confident you appear. Think about the people you've met who seem naturally intriguing. Did they spend hours justifying every decision? Did they constantly seek validation? Did they desperately try to convince others to like them? Probably not. They simply lived according to their values. They let their actions speak for them, and that created curiosity. One of the most attractive qualities in a man is certainty, the quiet confidence of someone who doesn't need universal approval to move forward. A mysterious man understands something important. Not everyone needs access to his thoughts. Not everyone deserves an explanation. And not every misunderstanding needs to be corrected. This doesn't mean becoming cold or arrogant. It means becoming comfortable with the fact that some people will misunderstand you. And that's okay. Because when a man stops obsessing over how he is perceived, he becomes more focused on who he is becoming. That shift changes everything. He speaks less, observes more, explains less, acts more. And ironically, the less he tries to convince others of his value, the more people begin wondering about him. Because mystery is not created by hiding. It is created by having enough confidence to let your actions tell the story. And people will always be more curious about a man whose life speaks louder than his words. Part 2. The power of silence. Most men underestimate the power of silence. They assume that to be interesting, they must always have something clever to say, something impressive to share, something entertaining to contribute. So they fill every pause, every moment of uncertainty, every silence in a conversation. Without realizing it, they are often giving away one of the most powerful tools of attraction, because silence creates space, and in that space, curiosity begins to grow. Think about it. The people who leave the strongest impressions are not always the ones who speak the most. Often they are the ones who speak with intention, the ones who are comfortable sitting in silence without rushing to fill it. Why? Because silence communicates confidence. It says, I don't need constant attention. I don't need to perform. I don't need to prove my value every second. And that kind of calm presence is rare. In today's world, many people are uncomfortable with silence. The moment a conversation slows down, they panic. They start talking just to avoid awkwardness. They overshare. They reveal too much too soon. And in doing so, they remove all mystery. The mysterious man behaves differently. He listens carefully. He observes. He thinks before he speaks. And because he speaks less often, his words carry more weight when he finally does. People begin paying closer attention, not because he is trying to be mysterious, but because he isn't competing for attention like everyone else. There is another reason silence is so powerful. It allows others to reveal themselves. Most people are eager to talk about their lives, their problems, and their opinions. When you create space, they naturally fill it. And while they are talking, you are learning, understanding, observing. This gives you insight that loud people often miss. The irony is that many men try to become more attractive by saying more. But attraction is rarely about volume. It is about presence. A man who is comfortable in silence appears grounded. A man who constantly needs to speak often appears uncertain. That doesn't mean you should become quiet all the time. It means you should stop feeling the need to fill every empty space. Because sometimes the most powerful thing a man can say is nothing at all. And when people realize you are comfortable with silence, they begin to see something deeper. A man who is not seeking attention, a man who is secure within himself, a man who doesn't need words to command respect. And that is where true mystery begins. Before we continue, I'd like to hear your opinion. What do you think is more attractive in a man, confidence or mystery? Comment confidence or mystery below. And if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe to Magnetic Masculinity for more insights on confidence, self-respect, and masculine growth. Now, let's continue, because the next lesson reveals why truly mysterious men never seek validation from others. Part 3. Why mysterious men never seek validation. One of the biggest differences between a man who is truly mysterious and a man who is simply pretending to be mysterious is this. One is secure, the other is performing. Many men try to appear intriguing by acting distant, withholding information, or playing hard to get. But people eventually see through that. Because real mystery does not come from hiding who you are. It comes from not needing constant approval for who you are. This is where most men get trapped. They live their lives seeking validation. Validation from women. Validation from friends. Validation from social media. Validation from strangers who barely know them. And without realizing it, they become dependent on outside approval to feel valuable. The problem is that dependency is visible. People can sense it. They can feel when a man is constantly fishing for compliments, seeking reassurance, trying to impress everyone around him. And nothing destroys mystery faster than the need to be understood by everyone. The mysterious man is different. He doesn't feel the need to announce every achievement. He doesn't constantly explain his decisions. He doesn't seek permission to be himself. Instead, he quietly focuses on living according to his values. Because his confidence comes from within, not from applause, not from attention, and not from someone else's opinion. This creates a powerful effect. People become curious about him, not because he is trying to create curiosity, but because he is not constantly revealing himself in search of validation. Think about the most respected people you've met. Were they always talking about how successful they were? Were they constantly trying to prove their worth? Probably not. In fact, the most confident individuals often have the least need to advertise themselves because they already know who they are. And that certainty creates a quiet strength, a strength that doesn't need recognition to exist. The truth is, people are naturally intrigued by those who seem comfortable within themselves, those who don't desperately seek approval, those who don't change their personality to fit every room they enter, because authenticity is rare. And rarity creates attraction. The irony is that the more a man chases validation, the more invisible he becomes. But the moment he stops needing it, something changes. His words carry more weight. His presence becomes stronger, and people begin paying attention. Not because he asked them to, but because he no longer needs them to. That is the secret. Mystery is not about making people wonder who you are. It is about becoming so secure in who you are that you no longer feel the need to explain yourself. And that kind of confidence is impossible to ignore. Part 4. The life people can't fully figure out. One of the reasons mysterious men are so attractive is surprisingly simple. Their lives do not revolve around being attractive. They have interests, goals, passions, responsibilities, a world that exists beyond the opinions of other people. And because of that, there is always more to discover about them. Most people reveal everything too quickly. Within a few conversations, you know what they think, what they do, what they want, and sometimes even what they had for breakfast. Nothing is left to explore. Nothing is left to imagine. But a man with depth is different. Not because he is secretive, but because his life is too rich to be explained in a single conversation. He is constantly learning, growing, experiencing new things, pursuing meaningful goals, and that naturally creates layers. The truth is, mystery often comes from depth. The deeper a person's life becomes, the harder it is to fully understand them at a glance. This is why so many men mistakenly focus on appearing mysterious rather than becoming interesting. They try to create intrigue through silence alone, but silence without substance eventually becomes emptiness. Real mystery requires something beneath the surface: a purpose, a vision, a set of values, experiences that have shaped who you are. Because what truly captures people's attention is not uncertainty, it's depth. People become curious about those who seem to have an inner world worth exploring. A man who reads, learns, builds, creates, reflects, lives. Such a man doesn't need tricks to appear mysterious. His life naturally generates curiosity. There is always another story, another lesson, another layer people haven't seen yet, and perhaps most importantly, he does not feel the need to reveal everything immediately. He understands that meaningful connections unfold over time, not all at once. That patience creates intrigue, because people appreciate what they gradually discover far more than what is instantly available. The irony is that the most mysterious men are often the most genuine. They are not hiding, they are simply living. And because their focus is on growth rather than attention, they become increasingly difficult to define. People may know parts of them, but they never feel as though they know everything, and that feeling keeps curiosity alive. Because the most fascinating people are not those who carefully manufacture mystery. They are those whose lives are too meaningful to be fully understood in a single moment. And that is what makes them unforgettable. Part 5. The quiet confidence that makes you unforgettable. In the end, what makes a man mysterious and attractive is not what most people think. It is not silence alone. It is not distance. It is not being difficult to reach. And it is certainly not playing mind games. The real source of mystery is quiet confidence. The kind of confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. The kind that doesn't constantly seek attention. The kind that exists whether anyone notices it or not. Most people spend their lives trying to be seen, trying to be liked, trying to be remembered. But truly confident men live differently. They focus on becoming rather than appearing. Becoming stronger, becoming wiser, becoming more disciplined, becoming more self-aware. And because their attention is directed inward, they naturally stop chasing external validation. This creates something rare, a sense of certainty, the certainty of a man who knows who he is, who knows what he stands for, who knows where he is going. And that certainty changes the way people experience him. He doesn't seem desperate for approval. He doesn't seem affected by every opinion. He doesn't seem eager to impress. Instead, he appears grounded, centered, comfortable in his own skin. And there is something deeply attractive about that, because most people are constantly reacting to the world around them. But the quietly confident man remains steady. His emotions do not control him. His self-worth does not depend on applause. His identity does not change depending on who is watching. That consistency creates trust, and trust creates attraction. The truth is, people rarely remember the loudest person in the room. They remember the person whose presence made them feel something, the person who seemed comfortable without needing attention, the person who carried strength without needing recognition. That is why quiet confidence is so powerful. It doesn't demand respect, it earns it. It doesn't chase curiosity, it creates it. And it doesn't force attraction, it allows attraction to happen naturally. The irony is that many men spend years trying to become more mysterious. Yet the men who are truly unforgettable rarely think about being mysterious at all. They think about growth, purpose, character, and self-mastery. because they understand something that changes everything. Mystery is not a personality trait. It is often the natural result of a life that is rich, meaningful, and deeply rooted in self-respect. And when a man reaches that point, something remarkable happens. He stops worrying about how others see him and starts focusing on how he sees himself. That shift transforms his presence. Conclusion. As we come to the end of this video, remember this. Being mysterious is not about hiding who you are. It is not about acting cold, distant, or making people chase you. True mystery comes from depth. It comes from having a purpose that excites you, values that guide you, and a life that continues moving forward whether people understand it or not. The deeper lesson is simple. Stop trying to appear interesting and start becoming interesting. Read more, learn more, build more, experience more. Spend less time seeking attention and more time developing yourself. Starting today, challenge yourself to speak with intention, listen more carefully, and stop feeling the need to explain every decision you make. Let your actions tell your story, because the most intriguing men are not the ones who reveal everything. They are the ones who are still growing. If this video resonated with you, leave a comment below and tell us which lesson impacted you the most. And if you want more insights on masculine confidence, self-respect, emotional intelligence, and personal growth, make sure to subscribe to Magnetic Masculinity and turn on notifications. Your support helps this channel continue creating meaningful content for men who want to become stronger, wiser, and more respected in every area of life. Thank you for watching. And remember, the man who is comfortable with himself never needs to convince the world that he is interesting. The world becomes curious about him naturally. Thank you for taking the time to watch until the end of the video. See you in the next videos.